Hey, my name's Dan Ripa. I want to tell you a little bit about my diet process. This is the Elevate You Transformation Program. I haven't really thought of a great name for the diet yet, though. You see, it's not just a diet, it's a strategy, it's a way of eating. And so I broke it down to 5 simple rules to start out so that you get a firm understanding of what I'm trying to do for each and every one of my clients as we work to rebuild their metabolism while building muscle and burning body fat. So here it is, number 1. We're going to stick to eating real foods. I want you to eat as much real food as possible, with the exception of having a couple of protein shakes throughout the day if we need to get extra protein in. Sometimes it just makes it easier. Protein bars in a pinch are also okay. But for the most part, I want you to get meat, eggs, vegetables, grains, all of it. Eat real foods on this diet program. Your body recognizes food. It doesn't necessarily recognize all these processed food-like products that we consume on a regular basis. In fact, these chemicals, these products that we're ingesting, usually signals to the body to store more body fat and to increase hunger rather than give you satiety and nutrition. Rule number 2, fuel your workouts. More specifically, fuel your workouts appropriately. If we're gonna lift weights, do HIIT training, work on speed, work on power, these are times where our body prefers to run on glycogen, carbohydrates. So we need to make sure that we've had a good amount of carbohydrates either before the workout or we have loaded carbohydrates in some meals prior to the workout. No matter the circumstance, I think it's best to have at least 30 grams of carbohydrate before starting a workout. Guys, sometimes more than that, but at least 30 grams is going to give you enough to get the body moving and go through that workout with intensity. During anaerobic training, sugars are preferred. During aerobic training, we could go either way. We can burn fats and we can burn carbs. Fat metabolism happens a little bit slower. So we're able to draw fat from fuel at heart rates kind of below that 140 mark. And once we get above 140 beats per minute, your body's going to primarily want to run on the sugars. There's lots of exceptions in there, but just know that the more of one substrate, carbs or fats, that you're burning during your workout, the more of the other substrate your body's going to look to burn while you're at rest. See, your body does this to kind of allocate resources. It doesn't want to take too much of one thing, especially if it has both to draw from. So when we're doing anaerobic training, we get to run on sugars. We prefer to run on sugars. When we're doing cardio, we can burn fat. This is why I always recommend lifting before doing your cardio. Always do your anaerobic training before the cardio, especially if it's in one feeding window. We want those sugars available during the lifting, and we can burn fat while we do the cardio. The other thing is, if lifting is so strenuous and so dangerous, why would we do it when we're tired? Always do the lifting when you're fresh and feeling good. This will give you better workouts and a decreased chance of getting hurt. The anabolic window. I'm sure you've heard this term before, the anabolic window. It simply refers to this elevated period of time post-workout after rounds of intense exercise as our body's looking to reload and recover and rebuild from all the stress it's been put under. We have an upregulation of all those positive attributes of digestion. We have more enzymes, we have more blood flow to muscle tissue, we have a priority to direct insulin to the muscle tissue rather than to fat. That means your post-workout meal is primarily going to go to support your muscle tissues rather than store as fat. This is why we try to consume the majority of our calories within this anabolic window. our body is ready for nutrients and it's going to put them where we want them. Now, the one thing that will slow this down is fat. So we want to keep the post-workout shake and the post-workout meal as lean as possible. We want to include plenty of good protein and good source carbohydrates. So make sure we're giving the body the food it wants when it most wants it, the anabolic window. At least 50% of our carbohydrates are going to be occurring between the post-workout shake, post-workout meal, and pre-workout meal. So skipping any of those meals is really going to be to the detriment of your workout. Skipping any of these meals will also take away some of the benefits of that workout. We want to promote increasing your metabolism. The anabolic window is the time where we can do so. Number 4, signaling. Did you know that we can use the foods to send the body a message? If we are constantly giving the body sugar, it thinks that sugar is always available. If sugar is always available, why would I need to upregulate hormones or enzymes that are in charge of mobilizing fat? Having time away from carbohydrates and having time without sugar allows the body to know that there is a need to draw upon these fats for fuel, especially when we're in a caloric deficit. The alternative to this is that our metabolism will slow down. Another time we can use food to send a signal to the body is if we've been in a caloric deficit. Say you've been following your diet very strictly, 4, 5, 6 days, and we've been exercising a lot. The body gets nervous. The body thinks it's not going to get a chance to replace a lot of this fat that it's losing. It wants to hold on to this fat. This is saved calories. It's wanted to hoard for a long time, and now it's losing it. This is when we use a refeed meal. A refeed meal, high in carbohydrates and low in fat, will signal to the body that we are able to get food when we want it. We can store carbohydrates, and then the body is more comfortable letting go of this body fat. This is why sometimes after a cheat meal or a cheat day, we see a large drop in the scale. The body is finally comfortable to restart fat burning, and this can also cause a flushing of some fluid retention we've been building up. Number 5, elimination. Now, before we get into restricting calories too much, before I take away carbs in this meal, before I take away fats in that meal, what we want to do is we want to clean up our choices. Initially, we do this by eliminating most of the processed foods that we're eating. But sometimes we may have some food intolerances, some sensitivities that are actually counterproductive towards our goals. A very common one is gluten intolerance. Not all people have celiacs, but they may have some level of gluten intolerance. This is also the same when it comes to corn and dairy and some other foods. If we can avoid these foods, what we are actually avoiding isn't just calories, but the inflammation of the digestive tract. As the digestive tract is inflamed, as the process of digestion is slowed down or interrupted, we are unable to absorb nutrients the way that it is intended. The body is also spending resources combating these foreign proteins that it's saying are troublesome. So eliminating wheat, corn, and dairy may be an option when we get stuck on calories. Sometimes we don't need to clear house, we just need to tidy up a little bit.